Viajes seguros and se carrizan, listeners. We are currently second in line for takeoff and will be in the air in approximately 2 minutes' time. We ask that you please fasten your seatbelts and secure all baggage underneath your seat or in the overhead compartments, that your seats and tray tables are in the upright position, and all personal electronic devices are switched off. Oh, wait. Oh, you say you're listening to Über Cinco, the podcast game show where we deep dive top fives? Oh, by all means, keep that bad boy switched on. Guten Tag and bienvenidos. Today, our contestants will reveal and defend their top 5 modes of transportation. Our first contestant just flew in from Minnesota, and boy, are his arms tired. It's Mitch Brinkman.
Oh, hey, how you doing there? Oh, gosh, yeah, real good. Yeah, real good.
Mitch, how are you doing? How are you spending the evening? You just relaxing there? Or?
Oh, yeah. Got a big old mason jar of a cocktail I made over here. You hear the ice kind of jingling.
I hear that.
There.
I see that. What do you got in there? Is that one of your own creation?
Oh yeah, I call it the Slimy Texan.
What's the recipe for a slimy Texan?
Well, number one base ingredient is Texas's number one soft drink, Dr. Pepper. But this, of course, gotta watch the waistline. So I've got Diet Cherry Dr. Pepper in here, a little bit of lime juice just to bring me south of the border, and then a bit of bitters, just to remind me, life isn't always that great. And then vodka, which just kind of settles right in there to the cola, and you don't really taste it that much, which is the way I like it. I just kind of want to taste my Diet Cherry Dr. Pepper. Thank you, Slimy Texan.
A drink devised by a Minnesotan who's clearly never been to Texas. Have you been to Texas, Mitch?
Oh, no. Too many wide open spaces without snow, So,
All right, facing off against Mitch is the man who just missed his bus to Berwyn and had to chase after it all the way home, and boy, is he exhausted. It's Brian Ernst.
Hey guys, I just made it just in time. I would not miss this for anything in the world.
All
Fuck
right,
pace. Fuck CTA. God damn it.
Brian is a driver. We'll come to that later on the show. All right, so the boys are going to list off their top 5 lists of modes of transportation. I'll be scoring out each round from 1 to 3 points as I see fit. And we'll have an Uber stare down if they have the same answer. This is your first time listening and you don't know what an Uber stare down is. Don't worry, we were unable to conceive of a game with complicated rules. You will catch on. As always, I'll get to institute a house rule, and today's rule is bonus points may be awarded to any contestant who can genuinely move me.
Wow. Oh my God. Okay. I am absolutely going to win this one. I know for sure. Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right. And don't forget to stick around to the end of the show for my Fast 5 send off, the top 5 chairs of all time.
Oh my gosh.
Chairs.
Okay. You've done tables before. You've done doors, and now you're doing chairs.
And I'm doing chairs.
God, you're a madman. What a madman. What's next? Blinds? Huh?
I just look.
Stoops?
I look around what's near me, what I see, and I list. I'm a listing machine. All right, Brian, you won the pre-show self-driving hovercraft building competition, so you can go first.
Of course.
Yep, that was that engineering degree I got at community college. Thank you very much.
Thanks, COD, right?
No. My list today, I'm going to bookend. My number 5 is going to be something that requires a lot of energy to propel physically, and my last one will not. But this number 5, and again, thank you to Zach Kraft for submitting this idea to us. Number 5, I'm going with the paddle boat. Now, a paddle boat is something that reminds me of my childhood, especially going to Naperville, Illinois to go feed the ducks. This is something we used to do when I was a kid. And now I have not been on a paddle boat since.
What? Wow. Now just describe what exactly the paddle boat is. In case if nobody's been on a paddle boat.
You need a description of the paddle boat. Well, here is what a paddle boat is. It's a boat that you sit in, that you have to pedal, and it's an absolute dog shit design. Now, this thing, first of all, it's the only boat that's like truly a square. It's not even a rectangle like a pontoon. It is a square, usually just a 2-seater, which makes it extremely difficult to get in if whoever you are riding with is not exactly of equal weight to you. It's a little bit more balanced front to back in a canoe. When you were in a paddle boat, oh boy, you better hope someone was on the treadmill that week, because one, you got to shed the pounds. Two, you need those feet of pedaling. Now, we used to do this where we'd go all the way out. This isn't my favorite mode of transportation, by the way. It's just the best because of how poorly designed it is. Because it's like, even if you're pedaling at your fastest, you will not go above 0.5 knots. I don't know what that equates to in miles, but that is horseshit. And then
these are slow.
These are slow. Basically, you're balancing on this little gravitational point in the middle. You're trying to make the turn with this little rudder thing you have in the middle. All you can do is twist this to go around. And if you're twisting with the person who's on the heavy side, you are almost for sure flipping in this thing. And you are not getting back in. We've seen people get stranded out there with people who are terrified of water. And what's even more embarrassing is like this pond, is 3 feet deep, but they force you to wear a life vest. So you don't even look cool on this thing, but it is an amazing form of transportation because it just, a couple of things I almost submitted to you guys were sales videos for the people trying to sell you on the new form of paddle boat. The technology has not changed. And the video I sent for you guys to look at was an instructional video. You look at this boat and you know how to use it. Yet there was a 25-point instructional video to make sure you get on it safely. And it's just a wonder of the modern water world, these paddle boats.
Well, I did watch the video you sent advertising the Pelican model. And it had the great quote, "If you want fun, look no further." And I thought, yeah, don't look to the left or right and see the people having real fun on jet skis, because I have to do this. As I scarcely mention every 5 minutes, I used to live in England, and over there, the paddle boat is not called a paddle boat.
Did you live in Liverpool, right, in England?
I live in Scunthorpe. You know this.
Oh, Scunthorpe, yes. Oh, God, I love great beef area. Lots of good cattle coming out of that spot.
They call the paddle boat a pedalo, and I did not know this. And so I heard somebody telling a story about how they went to the park and sent the kids down to the pedalo at the park. And I thought, this is a horrifying idea. I don't think you should do that. But eventually I figured it out. Anyways, Brian, the paddle boat is your number 5. Mitch, what is your number 4 or number 5? Let's keep it doing. Let's play by the rules, and you will go with your number 5.
Number 5, yeah. Brian, I just want to say my uncle had a paddle boat on his lake, and so I did a lot of paddle boating as a kid, and we took it across the lake and back, and I mean it was kind of a fun little thing. But also, I can tell you exactly what your parents were doing with you though on this paddle boat. They weren't, and thankfully they weren't sending you to the pedalo, but they were just tiring you out. That's all they were doing. They're like, let's just get these kids fucking tired so they fall asleep, and we don't have to listen to them yammer on about fucking ducks anymore, because they haven't realized that ducks are just kind of boring. They're just rats of the pond. That's really all they are. So,
one, you're looking at a city boy, so a duck is fascinating. We don't have any actual really other live animals anywhere else near us. So when we see a duck, we know we've gone far west enough away from Chicago that we're seeing wildlife. Number 2, we would always give up as children way too easy, to the point where my dad is huffing and puffing just to get that boat back to dock. And he would like, would you pedal already? No, just get me home. Blah, blah, blah. So no, we ended up tiring out Pops. That's what we did.
I cannot imagine your dad smiling on a paddle boat in any circumstance.
Not for 1 second.
It's not something that's going to happen.
I think the only time it happens is when he leans over and then lets the boat go back the other way and Brian falls into the water. Then he's smiling and laughing, maybe.
That is his dream. And I think that's why he's been trying to get me on a paddle boat ever since.
Well, let me move it forward here with my number 5 here. I'm going to give you a classic one here. And if anyone here says, I don't think that sounds like a good way to transport yourself, then I'm just going to say it. You are a lousy human. So my number 5 is the 1992 Lincoln Town Car Stretch Limousine.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. And I think we do have a little. I would love to play a little clip just to give you a taste of what it's like to shop for a limousine at a dealership.
Let's hear this. This will be fascinating.
Here we have a 1997 Lincoln Town Car Limousine. In pretty nice shape for a 1997.
Ooh, okay.
Actually, really nice.
That's in really good
Nice.
shape for a 97.
Set up in
Glasses, yeah.
Comes with all the glasses.
All the
Comes with
glasses.
a television set that has a VHS player right inside of it. You kidding me?
Wow.
Are you kidding me? So, but the perfect 92 Lincoln Town Car Stretch Limo comes stocked to the freaking brim with, you guys can already guess it, ice cold Coca-Cola. It's got to be, there's no diet here. This is classic original. And then big floppy and greasy Peppy Boy pizza. And then also it's just overflowing with 10-year-olds. Just, like they're not drinking the booze. Sorry. I'm also 10 in this situation. There we go.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Not a pedal limo. Yeah.
No, this is not a pedal limo. No, definitely not.
Are you all trying to escape from New York as well?
We could only dream of going to New York. No, this is after we tried real hard during the school drive where you go out and you raise money for your St. Luke's Elementary School, and then guess what? You raise $100, you get to go on a limo ride, my friend. 25 minutes spinning around St. Paul, slopping down cheese pizza, slugging down your Cokes. There's no way to feel more like a millionaire than riding in a limousine. Also, I'm sure you guys know the film. God, what was it called? That was filmed in St. Paul. It was a film about kids who played hockey. Mighty Ducks, baby. Gordon
Classic.
Bombay.
American
This is
classic.
the exact same limo. God, I love it. Also the same limo. Frankie Sharp of Sharp Records from Tommy Boy as well. He's riding a freaking Lincoln Car Stretch. He's watching TV on his little TV with the VHS in it. This is just a classic way to ride. I haven't been in a limo since God, was it like, I think it was college. I took a limo to prom, actually.
Went to prom in college?
I think DePaul had a prom, or it was like a winter dance of some sort.
Okay.
It was the one formal I went to in college, and we rented a limo, and it brought me right back to high school again, and my pizza party days as a 10-year-old, and it just felt so cool.
Well,
knee
limos
room
really
is never there, never enough knee room.
Limos are they're really cool for 10-year-olds. It was like we were convinced when we were kids, like, oh, a limo. We thought that rich people just rode around in limos all the time. That was like their car. So if we saw a limo, we were like, oh my God, Michael Jordan's probably in that limo. I bet he's there, even though we were at the mall in Galesburg. But really, a limo, my question is, well, first of all, I watched the entire video of that salesman with his 97 window, and he was really reaching, because he, in the car, you got the oh shit handles that, you want to reach up and there were like 4 of those in this 97 limo. And the quote was, and we got handles all over the place. Like that was his selling point. That was fantastic. But my question is, what do you think the world record is for the limo driver who has the most times had to drive around randomly on prom night while somebody lost their virginity in the back?
My guess is that it had to be someone who lives in an area with some wealthy high school kids who are wealthy enough to think, I get to fuck in the back of this limo. But they're not so wealthy that they just have like a nice second house or a cabin to go to. So the limo's got to be the place where they're plowing or whatever. So I'm gonna guess a New York suburb, somewhere in Jersey. So the guy's probably name is Frank, maybe like an Italian last name, something like that. Let's call him Frank Cerrone. He's
Frank Cerrone.
Frank Cerrone. Hey.
That's better, because my name I was going to make up was Gaspanzo. You're a little quicker, a lot more realistic than mine.
And Frank has been driving a limo for almost 4 decades. He likes to tell people, and he's had over 25 young couples explore each other's bodies in the back of his.
I was going to say, how uncomfortable is it as Frank's family members that every time he has to use that phrase? It's like, I was driving the kids around, they started exploring each other's bodies. It's like, that's his phrase. Oh, I couldn't remember truly when the last time I was in a limo. So instead I found a photo and I just sent it to the both of you in your Gmail.
I saw it.
This was the last time I was in it.
It's so sad that we are in audio format because you have. Oh, this is a delightful picture. This has to be the YouTube thumbnail. It has to be. So please, listeners, check out the YouTube thumbnail for this episode.
That was the last time. So wait, I'm sitting there.
Brian, are you sitting there with Frank Cerrone? Is that Frank?
It was his night off. He got to ride in the back seat.
So this is my uncle's wedding in November in Vegas. That is my other uncle next to me on the left. And my uncle who got married, his stepson right there. The poor kid was so upset he had to sit next to.
He's not sitting next to you. You're sitting on top of him. This kid, like 10% of this kid's body is visible. Brian's head, if there was a sunroof, Brian's shoulders would be outside of it, but it's not.
I have never felt so out of place in my entire life. I was taking up so much room, and they told us this thing was a 6-seater, and we get in this, and I'm like, no, it's not for Brian, not for the big wet boy. Oh
yeah, right. As host, I'm cutting off the us talking about a visual thing on an audio only platform. I want the listeners to go look at this, please.
We'll include a link in the show notes.
Yes.
We'll include a link in the show notes.
It has to be seen to be believed.
Brian, your face too. You're just so, this little smile on your face. You're just like, yep, hi. I'm sitting on this kid.
All right. I gotta score this round. Mitch, this might be the easiest 3 points I've ever given. This limo thing was just a delight from start to finish. Brian, for the pedalo, I'm gonna go ahead and give you 2 points as. That
is a fair score.
It was a fun story and a lot of great details in your anecdotes, but also it reminded me of the time that I had to ride one of these things and how bad my quads were burning. So we'll move on to the number 4 round, and Brian, it's back over to you.
Now, number 4 is a mode of transportation I never personally got to enjoy. So I'm just going to play the commercial for the toy that I never received.
Oh.
Jumping up and down like a kangaroo, Moonshoes. Jump straight to the moon with shoes that defy gravity. Kid powered fun is a certainty, Moonshoes.
So these are Moonshoes, little trampolines for your feet. Now this is one of the toys. This is the Sock'em Bop'em era. This is the I'm trying to think what other, the Razor Scooter era. We've talked about that before.
Mm-hmm.
This is when
Moonshoes, the shoes with
out.
the little wheel in the back. You know,
Heelys. Yes, that was
right about the same time
too. Heelys have made a comeback. Heelys have made a huge comeback.
Yep.
So these Moonshoes are basically rubber bands strapped around a plastic piece that you would put on as shoes, and basically you could jump. It wouldn't help your vertical at all. Let's be honest.
No,
you would just kind of bounce around, but it was supposed to feel like you were walking on the moon. And I don't know how many Christmases in a row. This was the one I would put the sticker on the Toys R Us catalog. Like, Mom, Dad, I need Moonshoes. And like, this is something that I've completely outgrown to the point where I can't even go back to it. It seems like Moonshoes probably have a weight limit of about 40 pounds. So once I reached past the era of being only the weight of a bag of topsoil, this is not something I'm going to be able to return to.
Bag of, but that was actually, I remember that was what we put on your Tinder profile when we made that, was bag of topsoil.
Yeah. Each one of his cheeks as heavy as a bag of topsoil, good enough to smack like you're in the aisle 15 of the Home Depot. So, Moonshoes would be something I would love to find an adult version of. and just go into public with them. I'm gonna go into Mariano's or Jewel and Moonshoes.
It's not inconceivable. I mean, I saw I was at I think it was one of the Mariano's here in Chicago, a grocery store, and some grown adult came in on roller skates. Just like, I'm just gonna still be in my roller skates inside, and then of course they reached down to like get some eggs out of the well, and they just completely wiped out and knocked some groceries out of somebody's hand, and I couldn't help myself, and I was walking very fast past them because I didn't want to deal with the consequences of what I said. But I was like, this wouldn't happen if you grew up and put on shoes, and just kept going. And I never looked around, just looked behind me to see if it burned anybody or not. But boy, was I thinking it as loud as I possibly could.
But what if a hero arose from the shadows in Moonshoes and bounced in, was able to save the day?
I'd never had a pair of Moonshoes, but I did know people who had Moonshoes, and I lived on a block with several kids who were within like 3 years of my age on either side, and so we played a lot of basketball together. The trampoline showed up eventually, thank God, and we could have some real fun.
Yes,
but the Moonshoes arrived before that, and there was an adjustable basketball hoop. So it was lowered to the lowest setting so you could try to dunk when you were a really little kid. And so nobody could quite dunk yet. But then the Moonshoes showed up. And we're like, all right. The Moonshoe guy came over and he was like, all right, I'm going to be the first one to dunk in my Moonshoes. But what you don't take into account in a vertical jump situation is the run up. And so the run up and gather. And so this guy tried to run up and gather in the Moonshoes, and he had not rehearsed this beforehand. And he just face planted into the stanchion holding the basket up. And, that was pretty much the end of the Moonshoe career on South Main Street in Roseville, Illinois.
The bottom of them were just hollow plastic.
Yeah.
So if you're running on concrete, those things are slipping. Or the hero and the Jewel, he's slipping on the tile. They're not great for anything other than grass. But the brilliance of the marketing was being able to convince me, an 8, 9, 10-year-old, that this was going to change the way I got around. And I don't know how many Christmases in a row that I hoped that was going to be it. How to feel like an astronaut, how to get around faster.
Much like the Pedalo situation, I can't imagine your dad smiling while walking next to you in Target.
He'd be the one who just, there I am floating. My arms are just gallivanting. I'm strolling. And then he either gets in the car and abandons me or shoves me in a bush. Those are the only two options that you can do while walking.
Have we had Rick on the show yet in any capacity? Because if
we need Rick on the show.
We let 100 episodes guy and have not had Rick even just call in and roast us.
We need to do like a top 5 action movies and get Rick on here, man. You know, do something like that.
Yeah.
Put him in his wheelhouse.
So 1 through 4 could be Rambo.
Dad, can I have Moonshoes? How about some Earth work boots, buddy? How about that? How about you get some Earth work boots? How about that?
I think maybe we might have to pause the show while I rewrite my Fast Five and just do my favorite Rick Ernst quotes that I've heard him say in your household. which I'm just gonna. I might have to reuse these later when we have him on, but the two that come to mind are when he just deadpan, like absolutely 100% serious when Beyonce, like there was a Beyonce commercial or something, and somebody made some comment that wasn't even remotely disrespectful, and Rick just turned around and said, "Nobody will disrespect the Queen Bee in my presence," and walked out of the room. And then the number one, maybe my favorite thing I've ever heard anybody say. So Brian's father is Rick, his mother is Karen. Is Rick saying, "Karen, I love you, but there are too many goddamn wheat thins in this house." All right, Mitch, it's your turn. Let's go on. We'll have Rick on another time. That's a little taste to keep the listeners on the hook. Be looking forward to the Rick episode. Mitch, take it away.
Okay, my number 4. If you how do I say it? If you guys wake up every morning with like a startling grunt, like, and all you can think of is that freaking sweet, soft, fresh pow just waiting for your gnarly ass, then my number 4, which are the K2 Mindbender 99 Ti skis, are for you. Yeah. So, all right. No other
Whoa.
mountain wood gets you down the slopes in more style or with more ease than these 2 slices of heaven. God, are you there? Nope, because he left the big frickin' house to put himself straight into these skis. Literally, you must pray to him after every run. These skis are that good. The big bearded silent creep himself will be whisking you down the mountain in these slick as shit K2s. All right. And no worries, there's no burning bushes. Your snow won't melt. There's just some filthy, nasty gnar shredding you'll be doing in these with your pow people all over the elevated ranges of your numero uno ski resort. My dudes, compadre. Okay, these are beautiful. They come in many different colors. You strap these bad boys onto your feet, and you will be sloping down those beautiful mountains with class, with speed, and hopefully like a half on, like not a full one, but like a half on chubby kind of thing.
Wait,
they are
a half on. Are we talking about the same thing that I'm thinking about?
a half on, like it's half on, or it's a half up. Sorry, a halfy, a boner, half boner,
a semi,
That's what
a
I'm
quarter
semi,
chub.
a semi, a spongy,
Semi,
Oh,
quarter
okay,
chub.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not a quarter. It's a halfer.
Oh,
Yeah, because a quarter is a half. Yeah.
so it can still get the job done, is what you're saying.
Yeah, probably. But so these are fucking dope because skiing is awesome. The wind blows through your face, through your hair, across your cheeks. Snow is soft, so if you fall, no injuries unless you're going really fast. And like,
nobody's ever
lot.
died in a ski accident before.
Have they? I don't think they have. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. Well, we can't prove it right now, so let's say it hasn't happened. But yeah, no, I just freaking skiing's awesome, and being at a ski resort is awesome. So this is like my favorite mode of transport or not favorite, my number 4 favorite, because also you can start at the top of a mountain, you can work your way down, find your own adventure, pick your own path, then you could ski right to your cabin, right to your ski chalet, right to your freaking snow mansion, whatever you want to do, right to your igloo. Maybe you built an igloo. You can ski right up to it, take off your K2 Mindbenders, put them next to the front door, and then go to sleep knowing that tomorrow morning you're going to wake up with that startling grunt again and have nothing but that sweet, fresh pow in your mind.
Well,
and those K2 Mindbenders will be there to pick it up for you.
No, Mitch,
So,
this was an absolutely beautiful. You painted me a picture here, and I appreciate that. But I feel like
What?
I feel like you're not telling us the part of the story that you love just as much as the mountain air and that fresh pow
What's
as
that?
you describe it. And
What's
that's when you're the mode of transport and you got those bad boys over your back and you're walking through the ski lodge to get your hot chocolate with the peppermint schnapps, and everybody
Mhm.
is that you're the envy of the entire room. Tell me about that, because I feel like that's what you really like.
That is true, because the way ski boots are designed, you don't have a lot of mobility in your ankles. Like there's not a lot of give to the boots. So you do have to kind of do like a sauntering cowboy walk.
Oh yeah.
So it's like the same way when you kick open saloon doors, and your spurs are clicking as you go to the bar to get, a horse, a bottle of whiskey, a bath, and a woman for 5 cents. But in this case, you're in a ski lodge, and each beer is, $12.50. But
Think about how cool you would be kicking into that saloon though in Moonshoes.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm here for a whiskey.
Oh, I'm dying. Okay.
You playing poker?
You guys are both doing the impression that Mitch did of me last week.
But yes, no, there is nothing. It is true at the end of a ski day, which is always at like 4:00, so the sun's still up, so you can still you still feel like the day's ahead of you. Yeah, strutting with your skis on your shoulder, which actually I learned, strutting inside with skis on your shoulder is bad luck. You should be holding them straight up. Once you get outside, you can pop them on the shoulder.
Is that true?
So hopefully that is true. So hopefully, I didn't know that till I went to Tahoe in March. So,
okay, all right. Well, as long as you had a good time in Tahoe, all right. Yeah.
That's bad ski vibe, bro.
Yeah, dude, it's like, like when you're on the mountain, you gotta chill. But like once the sun goes down, freaking heat it up and get wild, man. But so hopefully the bar's outside and you can just saunter and sashay with those freaking K2s on your.
Why are you Australian now?
I'm so sorry,
how
guys.
many ski
I'm
lodges
losing
in Perth did you go to?
Oh, just the main one, which is the Big Roo. That one's not bad. Oh God, I'm sorry.
I hope we have no listeners
my
in
number
Australia.
4. Just score me out. Just score me out.
I am going to score these out. And so, Brian, I wrote down 3 points for you. I don't remember why, but I guess you're getting them. And Mitch, I'm giving you 3 points as well. I've never been skiing. I've never been to a ski lodge. You stoke the flame in me, like that beautiful campfire at the
You would love skiing. As a man who can get up in the air because of his strong legs, you'd be a great skier. I'm assuming you have pretty good balance, and I'm assuming you love wearing shades, which is a great thing to wear while you're skiing. So it's pretty badass. And then you drink beers throughout the day.
Oh man, I hate to say it, but you're the first person to take advantage of the genuinely moving me. Right? You got a bonus point for that little monologue. I just wrote it down. +1. All right, we're on the number 3 round, and Brian, it's over to you.
We did not specify if these needed to be real or
no, we did not.
Modes of transportation. So the rest of mine do not take place in reality.
That is well within the rules. I will allow it. Continue.
Mine are all real. Just want to say that. Mine are real.
That's fine. I am going to take you back to the time 2005 for the dystopian sci-fi flick directed by Michael Bay called The Island. Did either of you remember the plot of The Island?
I have. I watched a clip before we started the show just to refamiliarize myself with it. I did not detect a plot, but I assume there was a shell of one.
There is one, and it's actually not a terrible idea for a movie. 2 people live in a dystopian world where they really hope to be picked for the lottery, where they get to finally go back and have this grand existence. You find out, though, that this dystopia that they're living in, they are actually clones of rich people. And when you win the lottery in the dystopia, you're actually being farmed for your organs. So the rich person on the outside that cloned themselves gets to live longer.
That is a good idea.
So it's a great topic for a movie. And it's Ewan McGregor, Scarlett Johansson.
Okay, so far I'm on
peak
board.
hotness for both of them.
Okay.
So
love that. Love
that with Bad Boys era action from Michael Bay.
Yeah.
So pre-Transformers, before we get to the Bay area that we are in right now. I'm
liking everything I hear, but I have not heard of this movie in 17 years. So please tell me why it's terrible, because
it's not great. I mean, it's exactly what you think it's going to be once you hear the plot. You're like, oh, it's going to be a brief shell of an existential plot with a bunch of action. And that's exactly what it is. But the mode of transportation that jumps out to me is these jet bikes. They escape from whatever, and imagine it being like a jet ski on land that has little fins and a Batmobile jet shooting out the back, almost like a Top Gun fighter.
That's what this is so backwards. It's like the motorcycle was invented, and they're like, hey, we need to put a motorcycle on water, so they invented the jet ski, and then they're like, hey, we need to put the jet ski back on land, and then they invented this thing.
Yeah, so it's like an individual speeder from Return of the Jedi, but can go more than 6 inches off the ground. So it makes it a lot cooler and a lot better form of transportation. So let me see if this clip plays, just so you can hear what these things sound like, because the sound design in this movie is really cool. So these things are pretty sick, and if you can go look up on YouTube the jet bike scene from The Island, this thing is pretty freaking sweet.
Well, here's the coolest thing I noticed from this. The windshield. Did you pick up on this?
Yes.
This windshield is made of diamonds held together by more diamonds, because they fly through 27 office buildings, and shards of glass are strewn about the city like it's raining down a plague of locusts, but it's glass from windows. And then this little plexiglass piece of shit on the front of this bike just never has a scratch on it. This thing's indestructible. That was what struck
It is
me.
indestructible.
They were pretty cool. They were, like you said, the next step in evolution of the speeders from Return of the Jedi, which that was holds a place in my heart. And actually, bringing up those speeders from Return of the Jedi may have just genuinely moved me. And I'm writing down a little bonus point for Brian. Oh dear.
I was going to say I prefer the 74Z from Aerotech, which is, of course, is the speeder bike that the stormtroopers drove in Return of the Jedi. I think those are just a better, more well-designed, more beautiful piece of machinery.
All right, I'm gonna cut this off because, and not because of you two, but because if I start talking about Return of the Jedi, this show will be 4 hours long. So I'm Brian. I'm into this, but we got to go over to Mitch. Mitch, it's time for your number 3.
Yeah, go over to me. This number 3 is, again, most of my list is forms of transportation that don't require power. Look at that. I care about the earth. I love that. So this one is my number 3. Excuse me. I'm going, thank
What?
you.
Sorry,
Yep.
go ahead. Continue.
My number 3 is a 4-year-old tan.
That's it. A 4-year-old.
No. I'm not riding a 4-year-old. No. That was a purposeful pause. Okay. A 4-year-old tan, brown, and white spotted Appaloosa horse. Right, guys? Come on.
Okay.
That's a beautiful, beautiful animal.
I hate you, but I'm on board with
I know.
this.
I'm going to name mine Corporal Crackers. That's his name. So,
That's a good name for a horse,
right?
Great
Good
name.
horse
Damn
name.
it.
And
I thought maybe-
did you look this up? Because you know the thing about the horse racing world, all horses have these weird names because you literally can never duplicate. You've got to come up with an original one. I'm pretty sure you're safe with Corporal Crackers.
I think I am. I did not look it up because I will not be racing my horse in races. I will be the only one riding Corporal Crackers on my ranch in, I don't know, let's say Montana or something like that. But I picked the Appaloosa because they have a beautiful gait, and obviously their coats are incredible. They're spotted. Fur is just heavenly. I love it so much. And also they can reach up to 55 miles an hour. They're one of the fastest.
Do they
horse
really?
breeds
Damn.
on the planet? Yes, for a quarter mile, they can run nearly 60 miles an hour. And also, I love the Appaloosa because they are bred out of a couple different horses by a Native American tribe in the Pacific Northwest that originates in like Idaho and Washington. So this is an American horse. You know, this is from well, not American. It's, you know, pre-America, but this is from the
continent
area
in which we live on.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And so me and Corporal Crackers, you know, we are waking up at the crack of dawn. You know, I'll have myself a good square breakfast. I'm going to bring him a couple apples, a nice sack of oats, maybe a couple carrots, you know, and then him and I, we're going to go on the trail. And we're gonna first make our way through the foothills. We're gonna climb a little bit elevation, find ourselves a little mountain stream. You know, it's cold, it's clear, it's calm water. And what's nearby? It's a bear.
Oh,
Yeah. But Corporal Crackers stays calm. I stay calm. The bear realizes we're all friends, you know, and it just goes and it cleans off a raspberry bush nearby and it keeps walking. And, you know, great. So we finish our drink of water and then we make our way along the creek farther up the mountain. And also we hear a rustling in the leaves. What is that? Something appears. Is it a wolf? Oh my God.
I hope not.
No. What it is, it's a beautiful woman in a wolf coat. Turns out. What?
No, dude, keep going. I'm on the line here.
Yeah. She's in high heels and just
And a wolf coat. Okay.
And a wolf coat. And she was at a fancy party at a mountaintop mansion and she's lost her way and she's been in the woods for a couple hours and she needs help, you know. And
is she holding her skis upright or over the shoulder?
She has one ski left and she's holding it over the shoulder. Yeah, she's doing it just right.
Okay.
Yep. And that's why she couldn't ski down the mountain because she only had one ski left and she can't ski one-footed like I can, which I do show off to her for a little bit. But then I say, you know what? I've got more food in my knapsack here and I've got some additional clothing. How about you just lay that wolf coat down and, you know, and we'll make sure you get warmed up and get fed and
very
get some
smooth.
clothes on.
Okay.
Yeah. And so she pulls off the wolf coat and, you know, and just, it's her glistening smooth curves and body are exposed. And, at first I go, oh, excuse me. And I avert my eyes. I'm a gentleman, of course.
Yes.
Also,
of course.
Corporal Cracker's nose turned towards the sun, turn away from the lady, give her time. And then she says, oh, no, that's okay. No, you can look. And I'm like, oh, no, please. And she says, no, that's okay. And, 2 hours later, we make our way back down the mountain. Her name's Joni, and, we live happily ever after, after that beautiful afternoon by the creek. And Corporal Crackers can't really look me in the eye anymore, but guess what? I still ride him every morning, and turns out Joni's not a great partner. She's
no, you were doing so well. I know. Come on.
Hey, it is what it is. You know what? Love sometimes is fleeting, and I can't guarantee a happy ending with every story. Sometimes this is just what happens, you guys,
the harsh, cold sting of reality. Oh, no.
Yeah. So, yep.
You know what you could do to get that Appaloosa speed up, though, if you take them back to the stable and get them fitted for 4 Moonshoes. I mean, you might be able to go 52, 53.
Have either of you ever shoot a horse or trimmed the hooves of a horse?
Did you ever shoot a horse?
Have you ever shoot a horse?
I have never.
Oh, shoot.
SHOED.
Oh, my God.
Shoot.
I thought you were just calmly asking, like, has anyone ever shot a horse? I was like, no.
Well, have you? I mean, if you have, that would be a story worth telling.
I mean, if I was in a bad car accident where the trailer attached to my truck flipped over and it's like the opening scene of a show and like there's no chance, I will shoot the horse with my revolver. Yes, I will do that. But because you know what? I made a promise to that horse and to that horse's father.
Right.
So, yep. No, I've never shooed a horse. I have stood there as my grandpa did it. That was very cool. But I myself have never physically shoot.
I have clipped the hooves of our family pony Bucky when I was a young man.
Aww.
I have clipped hooves of a pony, and I got to tell you, it was not a fun thing to do because a horse can kick, and what they don't like is having a 13-year-old who, with a sharp instrument he has never used, going after part of their body. So
when you clip their hooves, you're just cutting off like a dead end chunk or something. Is that what it is?
Well, yeah, the hooves are actually it's the same cutaneous matter that is like your fingernails. So they don't have any nerve endings there, but as they grow, they start to splay. And it's quite uncomfortable for them. All right, this is what I call infotainment, folks. This is infotainment. You just learn something about how to clip the hooves. All right, I got to stop myself here and score this out.
Yep.
Once again, the host is getting out of there. Brian, I was moved, and so I gave you a bonus point. But then Michael Bay is the as we know, this was the rule we established back in episode 1. The Michael Bay negative point, so you only get 2 points there. Yep. So 2 plus the bonus point.
That's fine. That is a clause.
Mitch, I mean that was just delightful, and I wanted so badly to talk myself into knocking you a point off because I found out that your romance failed. But I couldn't do it. I liked it too much.
Thank you.
I like the horse story, and also as a fan of the greatest horse of all time, Secretariat, you moved me a little bit. I wish I could have met Corporal Crackers. Maybe one day I will. So that's going to take us to round number 2, and Brian, it's back over to you.
This one is a fascinating mode of transportation. Comes all the way from season 5, episode 11 of South Park, called The Entity, which main entity right here. This mode of transportation is called It. And I am going to let Mr. Garrison explain how you get on it.
It is easily operated using 4 flexi grip handles. 2 of them are on each side. Left side for throttle, right side for steering. The third flexi grip is gently inserted into the anus to keep the driver in place.
Oh. Brian.
There we go. Now, the final flexi grip is directly in front of the driver so that small switches can be operated with the mouth, as such.
Without the visual, everyone just knows exactly what they're looking at.
Brian, I gotta be honest with you, and I don't like to give away
Yes.
as host. I don't like to give away my feelings before it's time to score things. But let me tell you, you got some work to do here in the next 3 minutes. How are you going to get any points?
My favorite part is the punchline of this entire joke is that no matter what this thing does to you, it still beats dealing with the airlines.
Oh, well,
okay. That is the entire button of this, is that Mr. Garrison gets turned away at the airport, comes up with a mode of transportation that's faster and easier. If only he would just come up with a different way of riding it. But it's amazing. It's something that sticks in my mind every time I go to an airport now. And every time I'm in a security line, I think back to this episode and start chuckling to myself. Now, this isn't my personal favorite mode of transportation, so it's up to everyone to decide if shoving a steering utensil up your ass is better than dealing with Spirit Airlines, for example.
Brian, when you first saw this episode, how old were you?
Let's see. This year, when it came out, would have been November 2001. What a interesting time in our lives.
That clip was not 21 years old.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
That came out November 5th, 2001, and it was in response to the airlines being a pain in the
after
ass.
9/11.
After 9/11.
Okay, Brian, you've moved me. You've
Yes.
moved me in the wrong direction. That's a -1. I'm very sad. I am.
Wow.
Hey, this is also the exact same time that Band of Brothers was airing. So you could either get this content to get you out of your funk or big ol' American stuff to get you out of your funk. Either way, we're all getting out of our funk.
Do you remember seeing this episode when you were 11-year-old?
I'm trying to think of when. I do remember bringing it back to Rick. The first time I learned the word masturbate from South Park, because it was two guys sitting in a hot tub asking like, hey, have you ever watched another guy masturbate? And they're being 9, being like, Dad, what's masturbate mean? And without skipping a beat, my dad would just went, playing with yourself. He didn't sugarcoat it or anything. It was like, that's what it is. I'm like, oh, I think I went to school the next day and told everybody the new word that I learned. So South Park, infotainment.
All right, so I have no idea how to get out of this little bit here. So I'm just going to mention my favorite mode of transition, the segue over to Mitch Brinkman. Okay.
Oh, very nice.
Nathan, you could have just pulled an answer out of your ass. That's all you had to do to get off the it. All right.
My number 2 is just it's a luxury way to travel. This is very, very sexy. Everyone say it with me. You guys all know it. We all know and love the same one. It's the 2022 Sea-Doo RX TX 300 Millennium Yellow
Edition.
That's right.
Okay.
I prefer the Sea-Doo Millennium Yellow because it comes standard. This is not add-ons. Standard. Adjustable cocaine side mirrors, thank you. Drink cooler and quick ditch contraband flush system. This is the jet ski you want to be on when you're ripping through the Gulf, or you're ripping through a Great Lake, or you're ripping through the freaking ocean, dropping gas and doing bad shit, and the cops pull you over. Boom. Quick flush contraband system. Bye-bye cocaine. Bye-bye handguns. Bye-bye illegal fireworks. They will not catch me with anything. But this puppy gets off the block quick, 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. This thing will get your hair moving backwards and you moving up as you hit the waves. Shades not included, but highly recommended. The Sea-Doo is freaking badass. There's room for 2, but honestly, I usually rip it so hard the second person falls off most of the time. And I'm not going back because my speed needs to get got. So that's my number 2. It's self-explanatory. I go fast. I love going fast. I've gone fast, and I want you guys to go fast. So that's my number 2. Sea-Doo 300 XTX 300 Millennium Yellow. That shit is nasty good.
Wait, you said this is
base price minimum $18,500. You want to add more bells and whistles on? As I said, cocaine mirrors standard, thank God. But bells and whistles, it's going to push up into the mid-20s for just a fucking jet ski. That's badass.
You said 2-seater. This is it's a jet ski. It's 2
Yes.
in line there. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, it's not a side saddle jet ski. It's 2 in line.
Well,
So,
I would love a
It's not a paddle boat jet
Well,
ski.
not a paddle boat jet ski.
Sea-Doo does make sort of speedboats, smaller speedboats, right? Am I making
sure.
sense?
No,
Yes,
this is a jet ski.
All right.
This is a jet ski. Yeah, this is a jet ski.
It's like a tandem jet ski, though, kind of like a lame version of a jet ski.
You know what? One of my favorite quotes. I'm a gambler, as is Brian. One of my favorite quotes is Nick the Greek, famous gambler, said the most fun in the world is winning at poker, and the second most fun thing is losing at poker. I think that's sort of reverse here. The second most fun thing in the world is riding a jet ski. The most fun thing in the world is falling off a jet ski at high speed and surviving with your life vest. That is exhilarating. And because you got the wrist thing, the kill switch attached to your wrist
cord.
And so it just the thing, you're within swimming distance. But here's the shitty part is getting back on that jet ski after you've capsized, especially if there's two of you. It's better that Mitch lost his partner three knots back, because trying to get two of you onto the same capsized jet ski when you're out at sea, that is tough going.
Yeah. Well, and she shouldn't have been wearing just her wolf coat on the back of the jet ski. Like, she should have had a life jacket on.
But you were towing her. You were towing her, and she was trying to with her one ski. So
yes, the fastest I've ever been in real life on a jet ski, 72 miles an hour.
Oh yeah,
so
now we're moving.
I tell you what. That will put some hair just all over your body and then blow it off immediately because you're going so fast. So,
I went water skiing once, and I was in high school, and I was with the family of my girlfriend, who I dated for 4 hours or something. And
did you meet her by a creek?
It was Roseville. We were by a creek the whole time.
Oh.
And
okay. Did you shoot? Have you ever shooed her?
we didn't shoe. In fact, I'm not even sure if we held hands, but I didn't have a lot of game in those days. But her family was nice enough to take me water skiing with some family friends. And I was like, I got to look cool for everybody because I'm 16 and it's time to water ski. And they're like, hey, so just so you know, like, this is going to take like a lot out of you physically to get, once you get up there, you got to, like, the upper body strength really has to be there. Like, once you get up, it's cool. You just got to hang on. But so I did that, and then I capsized, and then they're like, "Do you want to go again?" I was like, "Oh yeah." And the guy who was driving the boat was not like my girlfriend's dad, but like a friend of the family, and he actually was married to the secretary of my high school. I've actually told some stories about on this show. Like, really cool dude. And he was like, "Do you want to go again?" I was like, "Yeah." And he looked at me. He bent over the boat, and he was very quietly was like, "Are you sure it's a good idea?" Because I think he knew I was trying to really be impressive. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready to go." So he's like, "Okay." So I get back on there, and he takes the boat off. And boy, I did not have it. And I just flipped up into the air. My arms just couldn't grip that thing. And I went flying. And then they pulled me back onto the boat, and everybody had a good laugh at my expense. So I learned a lesson there. Brian,
do you want to talk more? Nathan, sure you don't want to share more feelings about this water ski mishap?
I was going to give you you moved me point, but you've just pushed it too far, so I'm revoking it.
Oh wow! Okay. just give us some juicies. That's all. Just give us a couple juicies. That's all I'm asking for.
I can revoke more points. Don't forget it.
Okay. Fine. Right.
You both got 2 points this round, but Brian, I gave you a negative one movement because I got sad. So you're just gonna have to live with it.
Like, that's your feelings are my fault.
Yes. Well, I'm still working through that sort of problem in therapy. But until then, the scoreboard will indicate my own mental issues, as it always does.
Got it.
Well, that takes us to our number ones. Oh my gosh, can you believe it? We've actually got to the number ones. Brian, what's your number one?
My number one, like I said, was going to be the farthest away from a paddle boat, whatever it is. It is going to be the AXIOM spaceship from WALL-E. Space, Mitch's favorite place. Now, the AXIOM is what was created by basically a Walmart-style company called By and Large. It was our way of escaping the planet because we ruined all of the resources here on Earth. So the AXIOM is basically a floating mall where all of us humans don't even have to walk anymore. We get to sit in lazy boys and go from place to place. where sodas appear in our hands, hot dogs show up in the other, and we get wheeled and carted from our room to the pool where we don't even have to get in, and then brought right back to it in space where there's actually truly no resemblance of living anymore. What a cool mode of transportation. The AXIOM by and large.
So
Isn't this the villain in Wall-E?
Well, I have to make
yes.
an admission here, and I've been dreading this ever since Brian sent me his
What is
list.
that?
Brian,
Be careful. Be freaking careful.
and,
right
and
now. Be
listeners
careful.
everywhere, I have an apology to make. I have never seen Wall-E.
Whoa! What?
You
God damn it!
Freaking you dirty little slime hole.
I know.
I can't
Freaking-
believe it!
I have.
I want to dump gravel on you and roll you around in a bucket of glass. That's what I want to do.
Do you want to be moved, Nathan?
God damn
the
it.
first 20 minutes of Wall-E, some of the best cinema you've ever seen.
I have heard this from friends, from lovers, from family, from politicians,
Jesus Christ.
from my.
Why don't you watch Wall-E? Oh, I'm Nathan. I can't. I got to watch The Last Dance again. No, you could have been watching Wall-E instead of finding out how Jordan signed his Nike deal. No, you could have been on Wall-E. Shame on you. Shame on Bucky.
I'm
Whoa,
gonna
whoa,
watch Poker After Dark. Hold on, there's another rerun on.
I like. Back to the arm float.
They're playing poker in the Bahamas. I gotta watch.
I hate so badly that this impression is like when I'm having a bad day and my self-esteem is low. That is literally what I think I'm like. And for those of you who can't see the video feed, Mitch is doing something like one of those tall, inflaty guys at the car dealership while he talks like that.
Which Nathan does do when he stands over an air vent.
Oh. Oh, God.
Did you know Michael Jordan also loved poker a lot? He wasn't very good though, but he had a lot of money to lose.
This is I wish I hadn't complimented you on that impression last week because I know I can never get rid of this now. This is now part of my life. Oh, okay. Any listeners who want to leave a voicemail of a better impression of me, please go to ubercinco.com. Right.
That's actually a great plug, Nathan. Way to bring it home.
Way to bring it. Yeah,
I would-
freaking synergy, man.
All right, Brian. This is the mode of transportation the chair, or is it the entire ecosystem?
That's the key here. You are the chair in the ecosystem. It is all the mode of transportation because as you see what Earth is in the beginning of Wall-E, anything is better than what we left behind.
As you know, I did not see what the Earth was like at the beginning of Wall-E, but we'll leave that there.
You're gonna love it.
All right. So what is the number one advantage of this system, and can you name a disadvantage?
Well, the disadvantage is you all get real fat. You see, there is a crowning moment, not to spoil, towards the end of the movie where a fat guy gets off the chair and learns to walk again. Like that is a main plot point
How
of
have
the
I not seen
movie.
this?
He needs to get out of the chair and do something for himself. So there's a lot of hidden innuendo in this movie. We're all big fat pieces of shit, especially Americans, that should really start taking care of ourselves and everything around us a little bit better. And that should pull at your heartstrings.
Well, it did. God damn it. I wanted to penalize you both for the impression, but I just couldn't do it. We're over to Mitch.
My number one mode of transportation is any car that Phil Ivey is in.
Oh, 10 points, and we have a winner.
There we go. No. My number one mode of transportation is your mom. Woo! I'm gonna be riding her all night. No, that's a fake one. Okay, all right. But for real. Here we go. But for real. My number one is your very own tired dogs. And dogs, I don't mean pooches or canines. I mean your feet. That's the best way to travel. It's the best way to transport yourself because you don't need anything else. You don't need any money. You don't need any fuel or energy or whatever it is. You just need to get up and go. You don't need any gasoline. You don't need a solar panel. You don't need a plug. You just need your legs. And you get up and you go. I mean, there's laws in England that say you have the right to wander, you know? I mean, all the best poetry, all the best fiction, all the best movements, literally, of people together are moving together on their freaking feet, you know? The march over the Edmund Pettus Bridge on the feet. It's not in cars, it's not in motorcycles. You know, the I hate to say it, but the walk around all the bases by Kirk Gibson when he hits the home run in 1988 to right field as he's limping, but he's not in a cart. He's hurt, but he's still using his own damn feet. I think
Who?
Kirk Gibson, a famous white guy baseball player, played for the Dodgers. All right. But you're just moving with your feet because also there's no better way to connect to your community, the world around you, your neighbors, your friends, new friends you meet on the street, dogs walking by, cats that jump out of a bush. You're not going to meet them unless you're telling me you've never You're telling me you've never been walking down the sidewalk and you hear and you oh, it's a little kitty cat. Oh, and then you meet it and it's nice. And you got a new furry friend. Feet are the best way to go. You see everything, you experience everything. When you're on vacation, what's the best way to travel? Walking.
Yep,
on
you're right.
Your feet.
What's
the best way to enjoy your neighborhood? See something you haven't seen before in a location that you supposedly have seen everything of on your feet. It's the best way to experience it. It's primal, it's spiritual, and it's just at its core, it's human. And that's what we're all trying to do is just connect back to the other humans around us and remember exactly what it's all about for the short time we get on this big spinning globe.
Well, I mean, if you think you're getting out of this round without a bonus point for moving me, you're getting the bonus point. I do have a follow-up question, which I'm very curious. And I'm going to ask you, this goes for you too, Brian. But Mitch, you're going to go first.
Yep.
Mitch, what's the best walk you've ever taken that just pops into your head right now? Anything come to mind?
The most recent incredible walk I have taken would be through downtown Zurich when I was in Switzerland. I don't remember the name of the river there, but crossing over the river and then going through like the old part of town. The streets, they're all up, they're down, but no matter what, they're tiny and they're paved with bricks. And walking up through, it's like on the west side of the river, you walk up and you go into this town square. And at the top of the town square, to the right, you can look out over the entire city, the valley. There was like leaves falling out of the trees. It was fall. And then in the middle of the square, there was a group of old gentlemen playing petanque, a game we all love. And then walking through that park and then down into the other part of the old city. Just relaxing, beautiful, and it doesn't hurt that over there you can just snag yourself a little beer from a corner store and just walk with a cold one, you know, like without fear of impunity as you're going through these beautiful old neighborhoods. So lovely. That's my favorite walk that I can remember thus far.
Lovely. Brian, any favorite walk?
2017. It had been after the first time I met Mitch's brother in New York City. I got there before everyone else. Mitch's brother had a whole day of work ahead of him. So I went there and left my bag at Andy's office. And then I had nothing but time to kill and no direction. So I got off at Penn Station. I brought my bag up there and then I just started walking around New York. I've never been, haven't been since. And it was like every time I turned a corner, I saw something that was like, oh, I've seen that before and I've seen that before. So it was like a little self-discovery of seeing things until I started taking random turns. And then all of a sudden I turned and I ended up in Times Square. And I was like, oh, holy shit, that's pretty cool. Wow. So like just kind of discovering things without a direction. That was the first time that I really truly did that in a place I was unfamiliar.
Well, that was all right. But both of you got bonus points for those. Thank you for sharing those walks with
You're
me
welcome.
And the audience.
Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking.
And that is gonna close the action on the game.
Ooh.
The scores have been tallied, and boy, I gotta say this was a fun one for me because I was impressed. I was moved. I was forced to write down numbers on a piece of paper, And
boy.
the number I wrote down for Brian was a very healthy and robust 14.
Ooh.
But Mitch had a
Is that a
slightly healthier and robustier 18. Very high scoring affair. And Mitch, you did win. I salute you, sir. And
Thank you so much.
I congratulate you. And now we must move on to my Fast Five to close things out, which was, as you remember, the top 5 chairs of all time. I don't know. Does anybody appreciate what I did there? Transportation, chairs is where you sit in one place. I don't know. This is what we call irony in the business, folks. All right. Top 5 chairs of all time. Number 5, Ernst Stravo Blofeld's black leather swivel chair from the Bond movies. You can't tell me you've never dreamed away a rainy afternoon wishing you could slowly spin around to face your enemies while stroking your pet cat. The chair that created one of the greatest villain archetypes in pop culture. Number 4, Stephen Hawking's wheelchair. Home to the keister of the most brilliant man of our lifetimes. If his cameo on The Simpsons is to be believed, that baby had a helicopter blade that could be deployed at will. Number 3, Holly Golightly's clawfoot bath couch from Breakfast at Tiffany's. She literally had a sofa that was a bathtub cut in half. Adorable and quirky, just like its owner. But you can't tell me that thing is even remotely comfy. But if I was getting cozy with Audrey Hepburn in 1961, you bet I'd find a way to tough it out. And number 2, the red leather chair in my grandma's living room. My grandma sat in her blue rocking chair. I sat in the leather chair that had been my grandfather's, who I sadly never met. We both had our caffeine-free Coke. Caffeine didn't agree with me then, and it doesn't now. And we drank it out of whiskey tumblers. Whiskey tumblers agree with me then, and they do now. And from these cozy perches, we would watch Michael Jordan destroy all comers throughout the 1990s. Here's to you, Grandma Lillian. And number 1, the greatest chair of all time, Frank Sinatra, the chairman of the board. Old Blue Eyes, the coolest of the crooners, the Sultan of Swoon. Look out for him next week on our most meticulously researched list of the top 5 musicians people have banged to. And that's this week's edition of Uber Cinco. Hopping off the Southport Brown Line on the north side of Chicago has been
Mitch Brinkman.
And driving a big red minivan with the license plate RCBAE, because RC Cola is so bay, has been
Brian Ernst.
I'm Nathan Hennenfent. As the great Mitch Hedberg said, I want a map of the world up in my house, and then I'm going to put pins into all the locations I've traveled to. But first, I'm going to have to travel to the top 2 corners of the map so it won't fall down. Auf Wiedersehen, and adios.
You've just listened to Uber Cinco, a production of UBK Studios. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your fine podcasts from.
If you like what you hear and want to support the show, please visit our Patreon site at patreon.com/UBK Studios. Every little bit helps us keep the lights on and the bill collectors at bay.
Keep tabs on us on all the social media at UBK Studios, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see that we really are just a bunch of good Midwestern boys.